Take it away. Bake them away, toys.
All right. Here in 1992, we present the fabulous What's the Scenario remix. Oh, wait, that was the Scenario remix.
Wrong year.
My bad. Welcome back, everybody, to Do It Yourself Music Appreciation. Whereas there are 3 individuals. Actually, make that 4 individuals. three which are on physical form and 1 which is in spiritual essence. And he goes by the name of... All right, Sorry, guys. It's been a long day.
It's been a while. And this album we're going to get into is going to clear us right up, though.
Yeah, man. Welcome to Do It Yourself Music Appreciation. This is what we do. We get together every week, me and my 2 old buddies, Dion and Gary.
Yep.
One of us picks an album, we listen to it, and we discuss what we love about it, maybe what we didn't like about it this week to one of you. But, this week was my pick, and I picked Royce the 5'9's most recent album, The Allegory. And let me tell you something. This is... I was looking forward to this all week. I've been wanting to talk about this album since we started this show. Truly the man who I believe to be the GOAT, greatest of all time. I mean, there's no debate in my mind, actually. There's no one who's knocking on that door or even like that I go, yeah, maybe he is the GOAT. No. In my humble opinion, Royce the 5'9 is the greatest rapper of all time. I know, big words, big statement. I'm sure many people would be outraged by this comment, but I could go into why I think that, but we'll get there. Guys,
I want to meet who's outraged by this comment. You know, I want to meet them, and I want to talk to them.
You know how many people?
And I want to sit them down in a room and make them listen to Royce the 5'9.
Listen, I know a lot of people that you don't say like Jay or Biggie is the greatest of all time. There's people who say if you don't say Rakim is the greatest of all time, they'll be outraged. And these are all valid arguments. I understand. But Royce is the GOAT, man. You don't? You don't understand?
I don't understand.
Let's talk about it.
Well, I don't understand the outrage.
Yeah, no. I mean,
the outrage, yeah.
This is an opinion-based thing, you know.
Sure.
This has been a highly debated and extremely contested topic, and people, the greatest of all time. It's not just rap, right? Like who's the greatest boxer of all time? Who's the greatest guitarist of all time? Who's the greatest rock and roll band of all time? There's always this debate, but for some reason, maybe it's just because I pay attention to it the most. The greatest MC of all time. It feels like such a like the people, like whoever your list is. A lot of people believe they are right and no one else is right.
Of course.
And it's a very personal thing.
I mean, you remember it was just a few months ago, like before like the craziness, there was everyone's top 50 list that was going around. I made my top 50. I don't know if you guys made yours, but that was a thing. And I mean that created some tension online. The Twitter world was just.
and I understand. I saw who was in like the top 10 in people's top 50s, and all of them I go, man, you guys are fucking lost. You know what I mean? I get it. Because when your guy doesn't get the shine or the respect that you think they deserve, it for some reason rap fans take it personal. I don't know. I don't know what it is about hip hop. I think you could trace it back to that hip hop started out as a competitive thing. You know, like who could cut the records the best, who had the best routines. From the dawn of hip hop, it was no, I'm the greatest. You know, claiming your throne as the greatest is like almost like a part of the hero's journey in hip hop, you know.
But it is the favorite topic of hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, if like KRS once said in an interview, somebody comes up to you in your neighborhood and asks you, "Yo,
spit a rhyme."
But probably going to be the topic of the rhyme. I'm really, really good at rhyming.
Right.
Yeah.
So, first, I'd like to start this show with a detour, guys. Listeners, I hope you heard the Allegory before you're tuning in, because we're going to get into it. It's an incredible album. Like I said in the previous episode, this is more of a discussion and appreciation rather than a review. The answer is always yes. You should be listening to this album, and we hope you heard it before you hear us ramble for an hour. But I'd like to start this because of how strongly I feel about Royce being at the top in terms of the greatest rappers of all time. I'm going to give, and I feel like everyone has to do this at some point. If you're recording your voice and you're talking about rap music, at some point everyone's got to give their top 5. So I'm going to give my top 5 right now, and I'd like to hear your guys' top 5 after.
All right, let's hear it.
Number 1, and this, by the way, I have, this is a caveat. I have 2 different lists, and I think they have the same rappers on them, just in different orders. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I have 2 different lists. I have my top 5 favorite rappers of all time.
Right.
And my top 5 greatest rappers of all time. I don't have room for any other fucking lists, because to me it's greatness and who's my favorite. And so it's really the same names, but the 1 and 2 slot are different. So
makes sense.
For me, my top 5 greatest rappers of all time. Number 1, G.O.A.T, Royce the 5'9". Number 2, Black Thought. Number 3, Nas. Number 4, MF Doom. And number 5 always varies for me. But right now, my number 5 is Biggie Smalls. So that's my top 5 greatest of all time, right?
Okay.
And my top 5 favorite is in the same people, but you're gonna switch number 1 with so Royce is not my favorite rapper of all time, but he's in my top 5. Mm-hmm. Doom is my favorite rapper of all time. I switched Doom and Royce, and there's my top 5 favorite. Black Thought and Biggie are in that shit. Nas is in that shit. These in my opinion, these are the greatest MCs of all time. Now, I'm gonna ask you guys your list, and then I'm gonna have a follow-up question. So that's where I'm at. You couldn't possibly convince me otherwise, honestly, about those names. I think they all stand on sturdy ground in that list. Right. Dion, go ahead. What's yours?
So mine is actually very similar to yours. My top 5 MCs of all time. I do kind of go back and forth between 1 and 2. I have the same 1 and 2 as you. But I'm not as strongly convinced that Black Thought is a far second. In fact, like I said, I oftentimes will put him number 1 and Royce number 2. Right now, I just listened to the Allegory for a week straight, so guess what? Royce is number 1 right now. So as of right now, Royce number 1, Thought number 2. I got Nas as number 3. I got Doom as number 4. So far, pretty much your list. But I got Busta as number 5. I got Busta as number 5.
Fuck, how did I leave out Busta?
I got Busta as number 5.
Dude, you know what? I might have to trade Biggie with Busta. I'm not gonna lie.
So I was gonna say, and my reasoning. So my favorite list is slightly different. I got Thought and Royce are still in there. Nas I love, but I don't put him in my top 5 favorite. I mean, he's Queens. I'm Brooklyn.
Shit.
I got Doom in there. I got Busta, and I think Meth probably replaces Nas in my top 5 favorite. But again, top 5 greatest. Thought, Royce, Nas, Doom, and Busta. And the only reason I have Biggie in there is body of work. I mean, he was tragically fucking killed at 24. He released two major albums, some mixtapes and shit before that. If he again, like, this is not to blame the man for dying. Clearly,
of course not.
It's tragic. It's terrible. But if I'm gonna make a list, I have to include that. And that's Tupac had a much bigger body of work, but I have him a little bit lower on the list, and anyway, I have other people that are better. But yeah, that's my case with Biggie. If Biggie had at least 2-3 more albums that were as good as the first 2, he likely would have been in my top 5. But Gary, what's yours? What's your GOAT list? What's your favorite list?
Here's the thing. I only have one list,
okay.
and I didn't even have one list. until Benny said, "Yo, we got to talk about this list." So then I'm like scrambling to organize my thoughts. But here they are. My list is based on how the music makes me feel,
as it should be.
Yeah, and I left out, some musicians that maybe are focusing, maybe almost entirely on the track, and not so much on MCing. So these are MCs.
Yep.
My first and favorite is Busta Rhymes, the mighty infamous.
The dragon.
That's right, the dragon. Because Busta Rhymes is now ingrained in my personality, and if I went completely off the rails insane, I would hear Busta Rhymes talking to me, and that would be not such a bad scenario. I'm fine with that. Next one, Q-Tip, because of the way his music makes me feel.
Fuck yeah.
KRS-One, because of everything that I've learned about KRS-One over the last year and having gotten into his body of work, I'm blown away at how brilliant some of these songs are. Notorious B.I.G. because of the way it makes me feel. And Kool Keith, because I know there's a Kool Keith out there in the world, and it makes me so happy that this world can support a Kool Keith, and that we could have this music available to us, that we're alive for this.
Such a great line,
you
Gary.
know what? Great line, great fucking list, and the fact that I couldn't even before we sat down, I was thinking what's Gary gonna say. The fact that I didn't have those names automatically in my head when it comes to you is shocking to me. But makes sense, Gary, for real.
So yeah, that is a Gary list, and that's a very respectable list.
Awesome list.
I can't argue anything on that.
And
no scandals here,
dude. One of my things is I saw so many people's top 50.
Yeah, I'm looking at mine right here.
It did not include Kool Keith. Fuck everybody that did not put Kool Keith in the top 50.
Seriously. I guess I could see how I could be one of those angry Twitter people, for not, and somebody not including Kool Keith. This guy put out like half the rap in the world,
It's true. I got him, just so you know, just because I'm looking at my list, I have him number 34 on my top 50 list. I mean, again, that maybe sounds outrageous, but you haven't heard 1 through 33 or 6 through 33 yet.
No, Dion, but just the fact that you thought highly enough of him to put him in that conversation.
No doubt.
Fucking
Black Elvis we're talking about. Come on.
We're talking
Keith Turbo, Pontiac.
we're talking about Rhythm X.
But what was your follow-up question?
So the follow-up question, and I think this is where we could kind of get more into the, where someone's coming from with their list. What is greatness? What is it? What is it that makes these guys that we listen to great? And I know that is where it changes, right? This is going to be a hot take. I think that a certain MC that is in almost everybody's top 5 is in that top. I mean, it's incredible MC, but he's in that top 5 because he's one of the most successful, and by successful I mean widely played, hit after hit after hit after hit, record selling out stadiums, and I'm talking about Jay-Z here. I love Jay-Z. I really am a huge, I admire him. I think he is a tremendous, incredible MC and one of the illest ever, but I think he's in everyone's number one spot more for the financial and commercial success he's had than for his pen game, right? Mm-hmm. So the reason he's not in my top 5 is because I think I could name many people with a stronger pen game, and that's what I'm talking about here. Someone who is more capable on the pen and the mic. And I know he doesn't write with a pen. He thinks about it in his head, and that's incredible. But I'm just saying, so to answer the question, for me, I have criteria to meet if you're going to be on this fucking list, right? Mm-hmm. So one of them is definitely partly that is the influence you've had on others. Am I the only one who's a fan of yours? No, Royce has a tremendous.
So Cannabis isn't in the top 10.
Totally. I mean, and he's an incredible lyricist, but cannabis is not in the conversation. The Royce is my, I'm gonna say Royce meets and checks off every one of these boxes that I'm about to say. Okay, I am not the only one who claims GOAT on Royce. Right,
No.
there are many, many, many fans and stans of his, and I admit I'm a Royce stan, but there are people who claim him as GOAT. So I'm not alone in that category.
Hold up. Explain Stan.
It's originated in that Eminem song Stan, and it's about it's an insult when you call someone a Stan.
Mm-hmm.
But if you own it,
super fan.
if you own it, it hurts less when someone else calls you a Stan. So I own it. For those who I can't imagine anyone listening to this never heard the song Stan by Eminem.
Don't forget Dido.
It's about an insanely fanatic Eminem fan who eventually kills himself and his wife or baby mama because Eminem doesn't pay attention to him or write back. It's really a crazy song. So I'm not that much of a Royce fan. I'm not going to kill myself if he doesn't respond to the fan letters I've been writing him. Just kidding, guys. I digress. So you see this cat in my face right now? Jeez.
There's a cat tail. It's like a lemur. I don't see the rest of it. You just see
Fuck
the
my
tail
life.
curving into your face.
If you're looking at my facial expression right now, it's fuck my life. All right. So real quick. So, impact, influence, fan base, devoted following who claims him as GOAT, including me. Insanely talented lyricist, meaning not the flow here. I'm not talking flow yet, but the words he puts down are extremely creative, are vast in scope of theme, are make thought-provoking, things that make you question what you believe, like truly intense and deep lyrics, rhyme schemes, right? Your rhyme schemes have to be, in my opinion, if you want to be considered in this category, you have to have original and complex rhyme schemes, because basically what I'm getting to is you put Royce on a track with anyone and he will not be out-rapped. I don't believe there is a human being who could get on a track with Royce the 5'9" and out-rap him. And that includes the people who Eminem and Crooked Eye. Those are in my opinion, those are the two guys that maybe one day, if on any given day they get on a track, one of them is going to have the best verse, but no one's going to out-rap Royce. Okay? Unout-rappable. Flow. And by flow, I mean scientific precision and ability to state your rhyme schemes in a rhythmic way over the beat, right? He has 8 million flows, this guy, okay? He has developed into this beast of an MC that, like, his flows, not only are they intense and intricate, but he changes them up song to song, album to album. You never hear a Royce project where you're going, oh man, he's hanging on that. Listen, Doom is my favorite MC of all time. I fucking love MF Doom. I listen to him more than anyone else. He's got these rhyme patterns he's been using since 2002. You know what I mean? And they're incredible. Yeah. There's a few of them, and maybe he'll do some new shit here and there, but Royce reinvents his flow every album. Just he's like omnipotent on the mic. So those are my criteria, right? So like widespread acclaim, but at least like have to have a fan base besides me who's saying this guy's the GOAT. Pen game, insane, like greatest pen game, greatest flow, cadence, ability to be rhythmic but in a creative way, and complicated, incredible rhyme schemes. So I just, no one's gonna out-rap Royce. So how can I say anyone's better than him? I just can't. Yeah. Those are my criteria for GOAT. And I want to be clear. Royce's albums, none of them are in my top 5 greatest hip hop albums of all time. So I don't think that's a different discussion, right? I'm talking greatest MC of all time. Anyway, that's my criteria. What is greatness to you, Gary?
Man, I mean, greatness, like I was saying, greatness is how the music makes me feel, right? If the music makes me smile, if the music is clever, if I'm laughing and I'm transported to another place, if I could drive to it and feel like a gangster, you know. The thing with so I listened to 2 Royce albums recently. I listened to Trust the Shooter, and I listened to this. Just trying to get a sense for like, who is this musician? What is
and
their
you
style?
went here blind, right? You came in blind.
Yeah. Never listened to Royce before ever.
Okay.
And I gotta say, Royce. This guy is distractingly good at rapping. It's really good. This album is really good. It's virtuosic. And I say this album is a strong drink. That is I guess, yeah. To me, this album is a strong drink. You want to drink it. It's a good drink. You know, it's like, you know, and been in a 1 barrel for 18 years, whatever. But you don't want to have too much of it. It's going to leave you on your ass. That's for me. You know, that's my view in that, you know, I need a little bit more nonsense in my music. And this guy is no nonsense.
No nonsense. There is no room for nonsense in Royce's life.
But to be fair, the question is where you'd fall in your GOAT list, Gary. And obviously, I wouldn't expect you to. You just started listening to this dude a week ago, so I wouldn't expect you to have him on the list anyway. But give it a little more time. Listen to a couple of the bar exams. Listen to Prime. You'll get there.
So real quick,
totally.
before we get
requires unpacking.
Before we get into Royce, real quick, Dion, what is your criteria for, like, what do you consider greatness in hip hop, in rap music?
The way you have like your list for best MCs versus favorite MCs is kind of how I look. I have 2 different lists lists, I guess, for greatest of all time or greatest and best. I know it sounds stupid, but to me, greatest and best are 2 sort of different things. And what I mean by that is your criteria for greatest MCs are my criteria for best. So like all those things, the cadence, the flow, the longevity, the popular, like all that stuff, that is for best. So,
you actually mentioned longevity. And
I did, yeah. No, I realized you didn't have that.
I did not mention longevity, and I should have. That's another reason why I consider him the GOAT, because if you watch the trajectory of his career, right? I'm saying a guy this talented cannot his trajectory was an upward one for the most part, but he also started his career making really, really bad decisions, and decisions that, had he not been so ridiculously talented, would have ended his career.
Ended his life.
Totally. But before it took off, he could have been a forgotten name, right? I think it bears talking about the way the way that this guy Royce the 5'9" got started is, I think, the way everyone besides maybe Gary first heard of him was he had the only feature besides Dr. Dre on Eminem's major label debut on the Slim Shady LP. This album that was bigger than the fucking Beatles when it came out. The Eminem. The Slim Shady.
Royce was on the Slim Shady LP? I have listened to Royce then, of course.
So Gary, you're gonna. I know it's funny to any listeners. Like, watch how Gary's head explodes right now. So the song "Bad Meets Evil" on the Slim Shady LP was the first time we all heard of Royce. The first time we heard of Eminem, it was the same time we heard of Royce, because he was this guy on this song. This is what happens when bad meets evil. We hit the trees till we look like Vietnamese people. I'm evil. He's bad like Steve Seagal. Above the law, I don't. But that whole thing, right? So I remember that was my main memory of Royce the 5'9" for a long time, because I wasn't really in later on I came to learn about all the other shit that happened between that song and some other stuff that happened. But at first it was just like, that guy has a dope ass verse on this on this album, I wonder what happened to him. That was my take on Royce the 5'9". Dion, I know I don't want to speak for you, but I'm guessing you didn't really know much about Royce either until Slaughterhouse.
No, but a little before that, actually, the first like time
Was it GTA 3?
I stopped it. No, the first time like I really like listened to Royce and like actually like started thinking of him like, holy shit, who is this guy? Like clearly I heard him on the Slim Shady LP like everyone else, but like it was like you said, this dope MC, but kind of like, you know, went by the wayside for a little bit, so I kind of forgot. But it was actually sitting in your house, your backyard. We're listening to music. I mean, this is it's like 15 years ago probably. 10, 15 years ago maybe, and we were playing Bar Exam, and the song Royce is Like comes on, which is not a label song at all. It's a mixtape, very much a mixtape song. It's not even on Spotify. Like it is a mixtape underground album, very underground song. It was using a recycled Premiere beat for the song Nas is Like, and you know, it's just 6 minutes of some of the best fucking rapping you will ever hear. It was
remarkable.
I remember just being silent. I think you were even trying to talk to me. I was like, yo, hold on. let's let this guy finish. this is incredible.
And there you go, right? So like it's interesting that like 2000 so that album, that mixtape came out 2007, right? I didn't know about the mixtape till 2008, 2009.
So yeah, that must have been when you played it, because I think you would just say, yo, you got to hear this Bar Exam. Like, all right, cool, pop it up.
So let's trace it back now, right? So like, because I think the trajectory of his career is something to marvel at, right? Starts out with Eminem. Before Eminem even had signed to Aftermath, they were kind of like a duo, an MC group called Bad Meets Evil, right? That song title gave them their group
moniker,
their group name. Eminem is evil, Royce is the bad half, and they recorded several underground songs. Some of it got released. Scary Movies, She's the One. These are all, if you haven't heard them, I highly recommend go find. This is Eminem when, in my opinion, Eminem's peak on, like, I still love him. I'm a huge fan, but his earliest Slim Shady stuff between 97 and like 2000 is, in my opinion, Eminem's creative peak. And it's like he recorded 5 or 6 songs with Royce, I believe, 4, 5, 6 songs as a group, and they were getting ready to like after Slim Shady LP dropped, like Eminem's group was going to be Bad Meets Evil, and Royce was coming up under his wing. He was offered a deal. He was offered a deal to be signed to Aftermath, maybe under Shady Records. Maybe Shady Records didn't exist yet. Dr. Dre said, yo, like, it's this much money, but you get infinite studio time with me and infinite Dre beats. That was what the offer was, right? So here's first decision that should have been a career ender, right? Royce said, nah, fuck that. I don't want to sign with Dr. Dre. I don't want your infinite Dre beats. I don't want unlimited studio time with Dr. Dre. I gonna go sign with this other, because his name was starting to ring a little. It's connected to Eminem. He went and got $1 million deal with, I believe, Tommy Boy.
We all know about Tommy Boy now.
Yeah, but
Tommy ain't my boy.
Tommy ain't my motherfucking boy. So
thank you for connecting those dots, by the way.
Yes, yep. Thank you, Dion. So this decision that he made, right? It like, to distance yourself from Eminem and Dr. Dre. Right when Eminem is the biggest artist in the world, right? Like this like an impact that like really the world never saw before, like, and largely due to because no one's ever seen a white guy rap like that, and all these insecure white people who couldn't be rap fans because of black artists. Now,
before that, y'all had Vanilla Ice.
We had Vanilla Ice in third base.
And Snow.
We'll always have Vanilla Ice.
Snow. My cousin did a song with Snow. My cousin did a song with Snow. Snow's actually dope. He's got the, but anyway.
At any rate, there was a beef that transpired, and I'm not going to get into every little detail, but it got to the point where he was throwing shots at Eminem on records and at D12 and at the members of D12. And he really became blackballed in the industry. He became this
cannabis.
Yeah, he became this incredibly talented artist that no one wanted to work with because he was taking shots at the biggest artist and the most powerful artist in hip hop. And these are moves that should have ended his career, in my opinion, right? Like, so producers besides DJ Premier, he always had that one Premier cut on his albums, which we'll get into, but he didn't have the greatest production. He released a really good sophomore album, but his first album wasn't great. He had that one street banger and Boom, which is a great song. My saliva and spit could split thread into fiber and bits, so trust me, I'm as live as it gets. What? But his career just kind of was very stagnant. He released a great album that not a lot of people heard in Death is Certain. It's a very depressing album because he was in a really dark time in his life.
It's fucking called Death is Certain.
Yeah,
yeah, he's not wrong.
It's a great album.
Yeah,
but
no, it is.
But underground and never got enough. He just didn't really blow up, right? And then like most people would hang their hat up, but no, he had some even more turbulent times. Released my least favorite album of his called it's called Independence Day. I don't love it. It's not great. Goes to jail for repeated drunk driving arrests, and literally before that, guns pulled on each other. Him and Proof from D12 could have died that day, right? All this like horrible things and bad choices and self-destruction and all this stuff, right? Royce gets out of jail in 2007 and releases The Bar Exam, and his trajectory from then is just up, 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 up. Got better and better and better and better. Surrounded himself with an incredible group, Slaughterhouse. Got better and better. Reconciled with Eminem. Released a whole album as Bad Meets Evil. And fucking, I'm sorry to say that the feat of being on an album with Eminem and not being out-rapped and really showing like, no, I am his equal here. We are a group. This is not the Eminem show and I'm his hype man. This is like two dudes barring at a high expert level. His career trajectory is insane to me, and he's only gotten better with time. He's improved as an MC from every release since 2007, and it's been an onslaught of releases, so much. And in my opinion, released the greatest mixtapes I've ever heard. Put more love into the bars in his mixtapes than dudes put onto their own albums. Bar Exam 1, Bar Exam 2, Bar Exam 3, Bar Exam 4.
All of them. Like mind-boggling rhymes on mixtapes that he releases for free because he knows. Like, I just feel like he really has an understanding of how to promote himself and how to gain notoriety and how to like keep his fans happy. Anyway, we might cut some of this. Sorry, but
dude, it's a worthwhile rant for your number one pick on your list, and I know that is a coveted spot.
Yeah.
And you listen to a lot of music, and you appreciate a lot of music. I'm surprised. Like, I don't know that much about Royce. I'm learning as we're hanging out and talking. Besides a little bit of research I've done over the last week and listened to a little bit of his music. But one of my thoughts was, I wish this album was 7 albums. Because it's so dense. But like, turns out dude's putting out albums anyway. He's putting out 7 albums. He's not even releasing to the general public.
Dude.
He's just, wow. I'm really blown away by how much thoughtful content and so much skill that he puts into this.
No, you're right. This dude's 144, man. He's 12 times 12. Like, he does it all. Like, he packs in the things within the album, and he packs in the amount of albums he releases. This dude is And not just him, he is a ghostwriter too. Like that, we may get into that later on right now. But for Dre, yeah,
wrote for Dre on the Chronic 2. Like
some of his biggest hits were written by Royce,
and wrote for Puffy.
Yeah.
So just saying, like, right, like, guy's got all the credentials. The only thing anyone can say, in my opinion, that if your criteria, you need to have a number one hit. He had that with Eminem in Lighters, honestly, but like that was more because Eminem's name was attached to it and Bruno Mars than anything he did. But if you're gonna say he needs to have this massive hit as an artist or like a classic album, I think you could argue that Book of Ryan is going to become a classic. His album before this one, but he doesn't have the massive radio. He doesn't get radio play. He even admits it. He says, I don't like on Prime. He goes, all I want is courtesy. I don't care about the radio. It's such a good.
The radio cannot play his music, not because it's controversial and not because it's
not pop.
It's excellent. It's some of the best music ever, but it's. Man,
no one's throwing that shit on at a barbecue, and like,
dude,
at least not to dance to. At least not to dance to. Like,
dude, people would be beating each other over the head in the barbecue. The grill would be like, people would be putting their hands on the grill and like having a weird time. Like,
let me go ahead.
Please.
No, go, Gary. Gary, finish your thought.
Yeah.
Look, I was listening to. So there are some great songs here, and I'm listening to, for example, Rhinestone Do-Rag, which is an amazing song. Mm-hmm. Each one of these ideas deserves pause and contemplation, but I couldn't do it because it's just
you got shit to do today.
No, I gotta listen to this song. I can't stop and think. Right? Usually, the music that I like to listen to has a good amount of superficial bullshit in between the really interesting, thoughtful points. But this. It has very little superficial. It has a little bit of superficial bullshit, but not nearly enough for somebody like me to really appreciate and pause and think about, whoa, okay, that's what he just said, while still listening and enjoying the music. I have to read it like a social studies fucking textbook.
And Gary, you know what? To blow your mind even further, remember we just talked a few minutes ago about Royce's very first album? He just signed with the label or whatever, and he just like spit one out. Rhinestone Do-Rag, that's what he's wearing on the cover of that album. That's the whole point of the song. It's like going back to that old thing. It's like, I did that so that you guys now, like, hopefully you're in a position where you don't have to.
He recognized that. Yep. He recognized, like, look at all these bad moves I made. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's like, I fucking wore a rhinestone do-rag, guys. You don't have to make these mistakes. I love that song. You know what I mean? It's a short song, but it's poignant,
It's
Gary,
got go ahead.
Your take on this, right? Like, I can't even wrap my head around what he's saying because it's just so much, right? That is actually why I love him so much, because the replay value is like it's like The Wire. Okay?
Yep.
I've seen The Wire 8 times the whole way through. And every time I see it, I go, "Oh my God, did you see that thing that Bodie pulled out of his pocket?" Like there's always this new layer in The Wire that I go, I can't believe Dave Simon thought about that. Like thought to do that. And that's what I get when I listen to Royce. I listened to this album since it came out so many times, and it's because every time I do, including this afternoon, I heard something new. I was like, oh, that flip, that, oh, shit, oh, that connects with that. Oh, my God, I didn't even hear those last 4 bars the first 50 times I heard this.
You know what it is? Like, I brought this up a few weeks ago. I was like, there's a category of what I think I penned the term rewind rap. Like, this, Royce is very much a rewind rapper. And what I mean by that is, like a rapper who, like, has a song or an album that, you hear a line, you're listening for like 10 seconds, like, oh, wait, what did he just say? And you got to rewind to like hear that line over and over because it's so layered and you want to hear it again and you want to like get it, like, like understand what is happening. You don't get that with a lot of rappers. Like most rappers, you listen to it and this shit can be dope. It could be really good, but
not like this.
Yeah, exactly. Like most rappers, you're not trying to, like we do for the show because we're doing deep dives, right? But like, for the most part, like I don't need to be rewinding like 10 seconds, 20 seconds to hear like something poignant that this rapper just said. Royce is in that category. Jizza is in that category. Well, pretty much all the people that are in our top 5 or our top 10 or whatever are in that category.
Totally.
But definitely just rewind rap. Like that's how I categorize it.
There's something to be said about I think I put at least 3 Tribe albums in the greatest rap albums ever made, but I know those albums front to back, word for word. No matter how much I listen to Royce, I can't recite his rhymes. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people might not like about him, right? If you're not willing to just to humble it takes a bit of humility to even like admit that this guy's that this guy is spitting in your ear and you're paying attention. Like, you have to be like, I'll never be able to do anything like this. You know, like, so we all, right, the three of us have all to different degrees tried to write raps and spit them for each other. I spent a good 3.5 years taking it very seriously, recording when me and Dion were roommates, writing all day and recording and all night. And like, I took it very seriously because I loved it, because it was my artistic outlet at the time. I never thought anything would come of it, but I took it very seriously. And I tried very hard to develop an ability to rhyme rhythmically over a beat in a syncopated fashion and to develop these rhyme schemes, right? I put so much work into it. There's two categories of MCs for me. There's the ones that make me want to go rap, and that, or at least the categories of MCs that I like. The ones that make me want to pick up a pen and start writing, and the ones that make me feel like I should never rap again. and Royce he's that dude that I listen to him and I go, why am I even trying? Like, why would I ever even attempt to write a rap song after hearing this? You know, it's like I feel exhausted sometimes after listening to his music, because it exercises your brain. You have to think.
Dude, I was exhausted after listening to this album,
I
and I was, not to say that it was bad in any way. I love this album, and in fact, if I ever get stuck on a desert island, I'm taking this shit with me, because it's rewind rap, and I'm going to rewind and go through every line of it someday. Hopefully I live to 120 and I get to do it. But I'm listening to it. I'm listening to, take almost any song in this album, and I'm thinking, fuck, it's like an endless, dense jungle. I like my hike. If I'm going hiking, I like my hikes to have a place to stop, enjoy the view, chill out, take a sip of water, think about things, maybe take a leak, right? Maybe take a nap. But no, I'm like hacking through this thing with a machete. It's so dense.
Royce is like, we need waterfall, motherfucker.
It never ends. Like, I'm looking and I'm thinking, oh snap, it's still the same song. How long is this song? 3 minutes? How have I been stuck in this for 3 minutes only?
I had a feeling you might. Honestly, Gary, this was the first one where, like, I was like, oh my God, Gary's not gonna love this, and I get it. I completely understand it. I'll be the first to admit, this is not music for everybody. This is music for those willing to pay close attention.
Yeah, I'll
you have to be willing to pay attention to Royce to appreciate him. And some people just want to fucking have a good time. This album is not a good time. It is not.
No, it's not. It's about a very serious subject that we should all contemplate, and it's an important subject. And and the skits on this album are wonderful, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, no, they're like
let's talk
about
little
those
kid,
skits,
but
Gary.
the indoctrinated kid. That's awesome. I love that kid. I mean, it's a really. I mean, that was just. I've never heard anything like that. Put it that way.
Before we go into the skits real quick, I have something that's really relevant to what we were just saying. Like, exactly what you just said, Ben, about like the type of rapper that Royce is. He mentions it in the very first track. There's a line. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it's a line where he goes, feeling like Rembrandt sculpted some shit that just Van Gogh get. In other words, basically he's saying like, yo, my shit is so advanced that the only people that could possibly fully appreciate what I'm doing are other MCs. And not just other MCs, other top MCs. So that line is, it brings together everything that you're saying, because Royce fully agrees with you. He fully agrees with you, because again, just gonna say the line again, feeling like Rembrandt sculpted some shit that just Van Gogh get.
Dude, can I tell you something? There's a perfect example. I've heard that line a million times, and I never even took the time to be like, I wonder what he means by that. And I've heard this album a lot, and
you just thought it was a dope line.
It sounded dope. And that's the thing, right? His bars, the reason I could listen over and over again, because his bars sound dope to me, even if I don't even know what the fuck he's saying yet. And the way he is so advanced in his syncopation, I've compared rappers to musicians a lot before. I said that Doom is like a funky blues guitarist, right? It's the notes you don't play that matter as much as the notes you play. It's where you choose to put the pause and phrase your music, right? The musical phrasing of it, not the words. Royce's phrasing is so intense, but if you listen to it with attentive ears, there are those pauses. They're just at such specific points in the pocket that it's like a bebop fusion jazz guitarist or something. Like Royce is, this is going to be a connection. Most of our listeners, if you love hip hop, you probably don't know who Jimmy Herring is. Royce is the Jimmy Herring of rap music, and that is a guitarist who plays incredibly complicated, intense, fast, but so much feeling and incredible phrasing. Look him up. Royce.
Yeah, I never heard of him.
He's this.
No, truly, there is a lot of feeling in this album, even though the content is so dense, for sure, right? Like, even within I started on skits. Let's talk about skits for a second. Right?
Hit me with it.
The skits, they get the job done for me.
Yeah.
Like Perspective. This is not one of the skits with the little kid. Perspective is a skit, for example, that's already
Eminem.
has.
Oh, I got something to say about that. But yeah, go on.
That's Eminem. Word.
That's Eminem. Yeah, you couldn't tell.
No, I couldn't tell.
Gary.
There's already more coherent substance
Right.
on that skit than we usually get from music in general, right? There's enough substance there. And then
To
he
be clear,
follows
that's
up
the
with the
that's
rest
the,
of the album.
So, are we talking about the skit where he says
It's the only one Eminem's.
hip hop brought
Yeah.
more people together?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Than any other.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. That's Eminem.
He's he like nothing that he said was wrong. I thought that was a great skit, and it brought up some examples in my own life. Obviously, I mean, there's certain things that only like how do I put it? It's like I use Meteor Man for an example, right? Now, Meteor Man, if you remember the Robert Townsend movie, like it wasn't a great movie. It was fun. I saw it in the theater. It had had a really good cast. And like even at the time, I remember, like, I don't remember if it was you guys or just in general. Like I was like, oh yeah, I saw Meteor Man. I was like, you saw that shit, blah 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 blah. But like what people didn't understand is that was a black superhero. We don't have fucking black superheroes. So it doesn't matter if the movie itself wasn't great, like whatever. I'm going to a movie theater and I'm seeing a fucking black man as a superhero with a cape and saving people, and he's got superpowers. I didn't have that shit. Another thing is, I remember there were a couple Christmases in a row where my dad he wanted me to, like, he got me like my toys and all that shit, but he always wanted to get me this one toy called Sunman, and I never heard of Sunman. No one knows who the fuck Sunman is, right? But Sunman was a black superhero that was made to an action figure. I think it was like just an action figure. I don't think it was like from a comic book or anything like that. Or maybe it was. Maybe I have to do a little more research on that. He never did end up finding it, which was part of the issue too. Like those things are really hard to find. But my dad was trying his best to just like, hey, like, have fun with all your toys too. But like here's like, here's something that does exist that is a black action figure that, again, there weren't that many outside of, like, there's some popular characters made into action figures or whatever. But like, again, like those are two examples, like Sunman and Meteor Man. Again, they on the surface they seem like kind of like, jank. It's like, oh, whatever, like these ain't the real things. But like to someone like me, like the kid growing up like that, like that says something. I mean, that's exactly the kind of things that Eminem is saying in this skit. That's why, like, I really like, I appreciated a lot of shit that he was saying in this. I mean,
I mean, and I can't even imagine Dion. Like I'm sitting here going, fuck, like I can't imagine. The only thing I could possibly relate it to is when I find out a baseball player is Jewish.
Right. Yeah.
And like that's
Colfax, baby.
I mean, that's nothing. It's literally nothing compared to what you're talking about.
No, but you could at least relate. Like that is a good example. I mean, I know you say it's not nothing like it, but it's not. I mean, there's a lot less Jewish players in baseball than were black players in baseball, and ain't that many black players in baseball. So you do kind of understand where I'm coming from.
There's basically no Jews in any other sport.
Pretty much.
By the way, Sunman is a dude with golden wings and a badass sword and some kind of other sword in his other hand, like a spear type thing with also that's got wings, and he's got like a red tank top on with a blast coming out of his chest. That's a pretty badass.
The badass. And my dad never did find the toy. There were a couple of Christmases in a row. He was looking. I mean, this is obviously back then we didn't have internet. For you kids out there, we're old. We actually lived in a time before the internet. We actually had to go to a store to get a toy. But yeah, he was never able to find it. But just the fact that he was trying, I mean, that's just goes to show the kind of dad I have. But yeah, just in general, like it's always just been a thing that's always. I mean, like there's countless other examples. But for some reason, Meteor Man always stuck out to me. Same thing with Tyler Perry movies. You know, those shits get made fun of all the time for like how bad they are and everything. But you know what? It creates an audience, and there's a lot of black people who don't get to see like those kind of plots in the movies that get released. So yeah, like the Tyler Perry movies are a lot of times like put together. The editing isn't that great. Like he knows it, everyone knows it. They're kind of made like soap operas, but they employ people and they give entertainment to people who aren't used to seeing those kind of people on the big screen. So again, like it's just another thing where it's like, well, what's up?
Sorry, I apologize interrupting that important thought, but I wanted to ask if you, when you and I went to see Black Panther, right? Was that like a massive, like I know it was a massive moment just from hearing everyone's testimony. Like any black person I know who spoke about it like with such importance. Like, can you talk about like what that felt like when you and I sat down in that theater and I remember there being an electric energy in the audience that shot. I never felt anything like that before.
Yeah, exactly. Like that shot where the ship is first entering Wakanda, and like you get that, like I'm not gonna lie, I almost teared up. Like I've never I mean, this is black excellence at its peak. I mean, yeah, it's a fictional character, sure. But like this dude is supposed to be like one of those powerful people in Marvel. His sister is actually supposed to be a Shuri, supposed to be the smartest character in all of Marvel, smarter than Tony Stark. And like just that shot, that movie, like how well it did, like yeah, I mean that felt amazing, and it was part of an already like giant network of movies and entertainment in the Marvel universe. And people embrace the shit out of it. I mean, how many fucking action mega blockbuster superheroes take place in Africa? I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not gonna say one because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna research and find out that this other movie took place, and I'm gonna be wrong. And I'm on a podcast, I'm on wax, so it may not be, may be more than Black Panther, but it's like the main one you think of when it comes to that, because it's not what generally people think of when they think of the continent of Africa, right? But now, like I feel like it's changed people's perspective. I mean, as silly as it seems, like there's a few for like Obama being elected president, there's some people that look back and say, well, David Palmer was a character in 24. If you guys watch 24, where he was a black president, and people are saying, oh, like that probably contributed to Obama eventually getting elected, and that sounds kind of laughable until you think about it. It's like, no, what that probably did is it put like even a thought of a black president in people's heads. So years later, when Obama ran, it's not that silly. I'm sure there were several people who probably, if 24 never existed, probably never would have envisioned having a black president. And same thing with Black Panther. It's like now that we've seen that, now we can say, oh, well, maybe this is possible. It's like, yeah, guys, it's possible. Let's fucking do it. Let's let's be better at this shit.
Fuck yeah, let's do it. So all this stuff, right? Like the skits, and then we mentioned that skit of Eminem. Just kind of talking about really important things about how hip hop has brought so many people together, and just how he also mentions the fact that basically all forms of great music started as black music, and then some white guy flipped it and made money on it, and stole it. Rock and roll, jazz, blues, like it's just a repeated action, and in the narrative of popular music. It's an important skit, a beautiful I don't even know if it's a skit or an interlude, an important interlude. Then there's these and then there's these interludes I think they're actual videos, if I'm not mistaken, Dion.
Oh, the racist
Miss Gracie? No, Miss Gracie. I think is that what it's called? The father and the daughter interludes. There's a few.
I'm pretty sure those were recorded for this. I don't. Were they? Okay. I didn't think they were.
Might have been a viral video of a father and his daughter.
Maybe they were. I assumed that they were recorded for this. Like Busta Rhymes, like the way ELE starts with the dad and the daughter talking.
This was a little different.
Little bit different.
What you had here was really powerful things. Father passing down to his daughter. Like
I'm pretty sure it was his son. I think he was just really young.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it's a. Well, I think there's one with
Ben,
a daughter.
I'm sorry. But, there's two different. There are some with a son. There are others with a daughter. Sorry, you're right. There are a couple with a daughter. The very first one though, Mr. Grace, I'm pretty positive that's a little boy.
Okay, so there's another
it doesn't matter.
Where he's talking about like where he's coaching his daughter, like, what are you not? Like, I am not anyone's bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like coaching her through life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I love when I don't know which one of his kids he's talking to. He's like, if I pass away, what's your job? To continue where you left off and take care of my siblings. Like, these are things all parents should be instilling in their children. Like, beautiful, awesome messages. This album, it's the first of its kind for Royce, right? So if you trace back to before he got sober, there's 3 eras of Royce, in my opinion. There's like early Royce, meaning like, you know, the shit he did with his attempts at solo projects that none of them really skyrocketed him. Then there's that. Then there's when Royce got out of jail and was hungry as a motherfucker, but still drinking. 2007 through 2012, where it was Slaughterhouse Royce, just beasting on the mic. Very, his lyrical content was very just, I'm so amazing at rapping. I'm going to say some offensive things. I'm going to say some things that are shock value. I'm just going to show you how incredible. I'm going to show you how incredible I am at rapping. And there were incredible projects that he did, but that's where he was at. There was not much deepness. Then there's Sober Royce, Prime 2, Book of Ryan, Trust the Shooter, Bar Exam 4,
Bad Meets Evil.
No, he wasn't sober at that point.
The album, really?
No. He got sober in 2012. That album came out 2011.
Right.
And Sober Royce is that's when he just got, you know, his mind. It was no longer, you know, like Gary, we were talking about in previous episodes. The signal was not clear before. He could only be so creative, and once the booze left his system, his vision just got so, you could see his eyes opening up, and he's not necessarily rapping about just the same shit. You know, he's not telling you how great he is anymore. He might, and in fact, he has probably the greatest line ever in a rap song saying how amazing you are in this.
Yeah,
he said,
I know.
They say you are what you eat. How come I never ate goat?
Dope.
Are you
Love that.
Chills on my arm just reciting.
Like, man. Yeah, this album, the content of this album was so meaningful, I think, compared to like at least a little bit of his music that I've listened to that preceded it. Like, this was him putting his superpower to use to open up people's eyes. This cool, man.
And totally, Gary, totally. This is what this album served as. He even speaks about it. Like, you know, he did in Book of Ryan, it was an extremely personal album. It was this album kind of just peeling back all of the layers of the onion, showing you his life, showing you what makes him tick, scars of an addict father, you know, decisions.
That's probably the best word I'd use to describe that album is scars. It's just full of scars.
Just exposing scars.
Amazing album.
Beautiful album. And his work with Primo is like, you know, all over the place, but emceeing, you know, it's just like beats and rhymes with Prime, but really great, awesome scope of lyrics. And then when he got to here, this is his first time where he's like, I kind of, you know, I heard him in an interview, he said, I'm an information junkie, you know, and like, I just want to, you know, there's not one theme of the album, but the theme is don't believe everything you hear, and you know, and like, if you pay attention to what he's saying, you know, a lot of this stuff is like trying to enlighten his listeners to like the way the world is, and like the lies we've subscribed to as a nation, and maybe the, you know, the lies that you know, certain people aren't capable of success and greatness. There's this beautiful you know, there are these lessons in all of these songs, you know. The song Pendulum, right? It, you know, he starts off with this very conceited and almost it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Arrogance in the music, you know, braggadocious, but also like he's talking about some really harsh shit where you go, man, does he really feel that way? The song's called Pendulum, right? By the second verse, the pendulum swung, and he's talking about all of the negative effects that way of thinking has on a man. Now I'm going down a downward spiral. My side, you know, my main hoe is Bow Wow's side hoe. You know, I don't have the
no.
But he's talking about how that way of that way of thinking, right? Of like, you know, in the first verse, you know, I'm not with abortion. Any baby that comes out you as an instant orphan. He's talking about
Yeah,
some
that's
really
a rough line.
like harsh shit. But you realize he's talking about there's a pendulum swing when you act that way, and eventually you reap what you sow. So like there's even in like
Man,
songs
I just
that
did not get that when listening to that before.
I didn't get it until the 10th listen, Gary. You know?
I could say that about almost like many lines on this album. Yeah, I mean the lines that do get through to me on first or second or third listen are like the kind of sillier ones, right? Like there are a couple of songs on here that I just love and I was able to listen to and enjoy fully. Like Trick is a great song.
Trick is great,
right?
Great song.
Young World. Something to look forward to, right? It's a good song. Dope Man. So in Young World, you said there was a line, "You ain't thugging till your mama know you're doing wrong." I think that's so funny. And I also appreciate the Slick Rick reference.
The Hey Young World.
He does pay tribute to the
all the greats.
All the greats. Yeah. He knows.
He's a student. He is a student of the game, man.
That song, Young World, I learned something about a Royce that I didn't realize. Ben, I don't know if you knew this, but he there's a line where he says, "Took my first drink at Dr. Dre home because I was homeless." He hadn't had a drop of alcohol before that. Like it was when M flew him out to Dre to work on some shit for 2001. Is literally when he had his first sip. So I thought it was interesting that his sort of mainstream career and his alcoholism were paralleled. Right?
Totally.
And it gets and they both get to a point where they peak almost.
Not sustainable.
Not exactly, not sustainable. And then as soon as he decides to become sober, his skill just skyrockets. And it was already high. It was already fucking high.
But that's the crazy, so I am someone who also got sober, right? I am. My creativity has plummeted. I was like an artist, I could create in ways, and none of it was coherent, but at least I felt like I was expressing myself artistically. You know what I mean? And the fact that his capability skyrocketed, right? So, like, you talked about the song Royce is like, that's drunk Royce. It's just a guy beasting out on a mic, keep my guns clean with sunscreen, I'm so hot.
Best
like
line
just,
of the song.
But his bars back then, they didn't really, he had some stories, on some of his songs, but they were just how great I am at rapping. He gets sober, and all of a sudden, his lyrical ability, his flows, his content, his cadence, everything skyrockets like a mushroom cloud. It's incredible.
Also, his features, I think, too, right? Like both him being featured on things and the guest stars that he has. I mean, like on this album alone, he's got all of Griselda. He's got Eminem doing a skit.
Yeah, the Griselda features, we should talk about that, D. I mean, like, I wasn't really too familiar with the members of Griselda until I think maybe 2 years ago. There was a EP called West Side Doom. It was West Side Gun and MF Doom. It was just like
I didn't put that together. That was West Side Gun.
Yeah,
I remember that album. Yeah,
it's like 2 songs. It's like a single maybe. I don't know, but I was like, oh, this guy got a cool voice, right? And then like I found out about this Griselda crew. They're like, they give me hope. They really give me hope.
Buffalo, from Buffalo, New York, believe it or not.
And just hip hop, man. These are like, I don't want to call them kids, but we're older than them. They're up and comers in the music. In the hip hop world that are keeping it so, the vision of hip hop that I love is alive in them. You know what I mean? Bars, just beasting on the mic and not subscribing to trying to sound like everyone else, which is, I think, the state of hip hop right now is just everyone sounds like everyone right now. At least in popular hip hop, everyone sounds like everyone. You you got the few standouts, Kendrick, Cole, Griselda, and, but for the most part, I can't tell people apart these days for the most part.
It's a SoundCloud show.
Watch me throw a Drake album in as the next recommendation. Watch.
Hey, you know what? I got my opinion on Drake. We can get into that.
Let's get into that another time.
Let's get into that another time. Gary, if you want to do that, you can.
This is called Do-It-Yourself Music Appreciation, and I intend to keep it that way.
Look, man, Spotify told me the other day, and I was very shocked by this, but it's like it said I got a notification that said I'm like one of the #1 Drake fans on Spotify. And I'm like,
That must be embarrassing.
man, like, all right. I didn't know. I didn't realize how far things have gone with me and Drake.
Can I ask
Hey,
something?
man.
I know. Listen, you guys might think like again. I do not like Drake. I do not like his music. I don't care for his music. Just saying it. The amount of MCs, great MCs, I heard give him big ups makes me think like maybe I'm just out of touch. Maybe I just like.
Yeah.
Maybe I or maybe they're just being.
Ben, you know what it is,
using politics
honestly,
and like not wanting to piss off someone really powerful. But
I know why you don't like him. I see why you don't like him, but the dude, he does have some bars. He's got some bars. He's got several songs where like he just drops a verse and like, wait, Drake, really? The singing dude?
Yeah.
Like he does have some bars, man. Like he's
got
not
some bars. He's got really good features on his songs, and they're just fun to listen to. They're a lot of fun to listen to. I have a blast listening to Drake. I build the best spreadsheets listening to Drake. Put it that way.
Fair enough. And also, he's gone on record to say that my cousin is one of his biggest influences. So I gotta respect it a little bit. But no, but Ben, but that's kind of where it is. Like I completely get where you're coming from, because that's the thing about Drake is like, although he has bars are definitely not his priority. You know what I mean? And I think that's why you don't like him.
Is making women want to dance to his music, and that's okay.
But we'll go with that.
And it's okay. I don't hate his music. I don't hate him. I'm not like oh, turn this shit off. But it's not my thing. And
Ben, do yourself a favor. We'll get back to Royce after this. But he had a beef with Meek Mill, who Meek Mill is dope in his own right too. But one of his clapback songs, oh my god, I'm literally drawing a blank right now. It was a hit. It was just bars and a beat, and it was just Drake just like wailing on this dude. It was pretty fucking good. Give that a listen. That's not some dance shit. That is some there's some ether shit.
All right, I'll check it out.
Which and if it makes you feel better, Drake himself got ethered a couple years later by Pusha T, with that beef.
That doesn't make me feel good. I don't take pride in anyone's suffering.
No suffering. This isn't East Coast West Coast where shit's going to blows. This is all right. But Pusha T put him in his fucking place. Like you got to hear that shit too. Anyway, back to Royce. My bad.
It's okay, Gary. Your point of how challenging this music is to listen to, it actually and by the way, I like to be challenged by my music, right? Like in all genres, I want something.
I know you do.
I want something that's gonna pay dividends when I pay attention, right? I want something far beyond surface level. It's just me. Now, but I'm starting to realize, like, what is there to say? Like, I've listened to this album so much, and I could barely quote it. I could, I could barely, I could never even try to, in the right time signature, spit his bars. So it's hard to talk about it. It's hard to be like, yo, this thing, right? Like I'm just in awe of him as a musician, as a rapper. I think he treats his voice like a excellent jazz musician, and to anyone who maybe had the same experience as Gary, I understand, but with every listen, I become more appreciative of him. It's not a first listen type of thing,
I could see why, Benny, like having listened to this album, I could see why you have this as your favorite kind of music, and this musician's your favorite musician. Like, let me rephrase that. What list was he #1 on?
Greatest.
I could see why you think he's the greatest, because this really feeds. This is the epitome of the kind of music that you appreciate, right? Like, this guy gets it.
Do you remember when I tried to make you guys watch a Frank Zappa concert with me?
Oof.
That was rough.
Here's the thing.
Alex goes, "This is like wasted talent."
Shout out to Sasha.
I didn't feel that way about this album.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it, but I also felt like this album is a hot dog eating contest of an album, right?
July 4th is around the corner, baby.
Dude, but like, it's like, but it's not hot dogs. It's like some like really expensive aged like steak and like caviar and shit. But like, I'm just wolfing it down, just like real fast with like water, just get in there.
I understand, Gary.
That's
I can't even hate that. I'm not mad at that. I understand. And
Makes sense.
I think Royce knows that too. I think he knew very fucking well. Alluding to that line you spoke about, Dion, like
Feeling like Rembrandt sculpted some shit that just Van Gogh get.
he's making this music for the people who rap. He's a rapper's rapper. He's making this music for the people who care about this shit. And he knows that he's not going to get worldwide critical massive acclaim in doing so, because he's going to alienate a lot of casual listeners. He's going to alienate them. This is an album that you can't just put on for someone who just knows what they, what the radio tells them to listen to.
And especially this album, just because of the themes,
I'm not alienated, especially because of the theme, right? Like it's not an alienating album. It's it's everything but it is also an intimidating one, right? For the casual listener, right? Yeah. Not because of the subject matter, but because of the skill and the density.
It's very dense. I think that's dense can be used in a very negative way when describing music. Like, it's so dense. And perhaps if you don't want something like that, it is a negative. And I understand exactly what you're saying, Gary. Like, we're on the same page here in terms of, like, I completely get it. But that's definitely one of the words to describe this album. The lyrical onslaught is dense. It does not let you take a break. There's no break for you. Like you said, there's no nap time. There's, the songs are just gonna force feed you this into your ear holes. They're just gonna keep plowing your ears.
And in between the songs with the interludes, which are supposed to be a break, they plow your ears with even more information. Yeah, it really doesn't give you a break.
So
interludes have enough content for sure.
You want to talk about the ice cream skit? Because that one blew my mind.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that either. The first time I heard about it was listening to this album the first time back when it came out.
I had
in
to
February.
Google it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, well, the truth is, everything you said is true. The only difference is that melody was a previous song that existed since the 1800s that was completely benevolent. But
okay, so someone took. So someone. I don't even want to say the word. You want to say? So someone took that melody and wrote.
It's not necessary. You can listen to the album and figure it out.
Wrote a very racist fucking song, like an extremely can't believe. I mean, can believe. Let's take away can't believe from the equation. At this point, if you can't believe that this country allowed and allows such racist acts, then you're fucking lost. If you can't believe this, then you're part of the problem. Okay? But the fact that this was a song released on Columbia Records makes my stomach hurt. Yeah, it makes my fucking stomach hurt. Okay,
that ain't it either. I mean, there's plenty of shit, of things around that time. What was it, 30s, I think, or something like that. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's
despicable.
Damn, I love the ice cream truck too, but now I can't look at the ice cream truck the same way. I just can't, man. They
should change.
A lot of ice cream truck drivers would be surprised by that history. But then again, like, I think when you look back at the history of that era, the 20s, 30s, like a lot of blackface going on, a lot of things that people thought were entertaining are not very fucking entertaining at all.
Yep, and it didn't end there either. Obviously, like, it's not like that era ended in the 20s or 30s. It was just prominent back then, but that shit continued. It continues as we're still seeing.
And to that point, I think this album's actually getting a lot more attention now. Honestly, I've noticed it.
I was going to ask about that. Yeah,
it's getting a lot of attention. Royce is in a lot of interviews on hip hop media, on his interviews. If you don't follow him on Instagram, his videos lately have been inspiring and heartfelt and intense, but completely understandably intense.
He's a great social media follow, like, and not for like shallow reasons either. Like,
but during this time, that really got ignited after George Floyd's murder. He has been very prominent and he's had some really incredible posts on social media, and his album is now being talked about because it was released in February before the George Floyd murder, before all these protests and continued police murders of black people, just before this crazy fucking social media, I don't want to call it a trend because it's not a trend, but just explosion of police videos, of videos of police officers murdering black people. Before this album came out. And so much of what he's talking about is systemic racism, is this just uncovering and calling a spade that this country is built on the oppression of black people.
I know it's funny. Well, funny isn't the right word, but like it's it's one of those things where you see this album, like we're talking about it now in June. We're saying it came out in February, and the initial thing to think is like, oh, that's kind of a coincidence that it came out that quick. It's like no, it's not a coincidence. He could have made this album at any point in the last 400 years, and it would have been relevant. He could have made it.
I just don't think it would have been talked about as much. I think that so PE, for example, right? Public Enemy. Very powerful music, right? But while it opened a lot of people's eyes, right? Like I think this album's you didn't have this massive movement of Black Lives Matter when those things came out. I think the fact that this album came out during the growing Black Lives Matter movement, and how many people were starting to talk about it, and now the explosion because of the ignition of all these other people joining in and being allies, and more people protesting, and there's an uprising going on in America, a beautiful one, a really fucking important one. I think like that this album, if had it come out 5 years ago, it might have gotten not swept under the rug, but swept under the rug of time.
Well, yeah. What I meant, I didn't mean in terms of how popular it would get into. I just more meant just the things he's talking about in relation to just the things that are happening now. All I meant by that is that like he could have made this. He could have made it 5 years ago, and like the things he's talking about would have been relevant. It wouldn't have been like, oh look, Royce made this album 5 years ago, and we're still talking about it now. Or Royce just happened to just make this album in February, and now like, oh, what a coincidence. Like the point is like, no, it's not a coincidence. It's always relevant. It's just always relevant.
His former rap group partner Crooked I from Slaughterhouse, who they clearly still have a great relationship. He was on this album. He released an album when Trump first got elected called Good versus Evil, and it's fucking awesome. And it deals with similar issues, but I just think the timing of Royce's release, I think this album's going to be remembered. I think years from now people are going to go back and study the text of this album, honestly.
Yeah. There's is a line in what album, or in Tricked, actually. Tricked is one of the best songs in this album.
I love it.
Clearly.
Yeah.
But there's a line about going to jail, basically. Goes thinking it's a rite of passage for a black male, ain't a real nigga till you enter that jail. What that's saying is like
that's Crooked I, right?
Was that Crooked I? Was that Royce's
second
line?
Yeah, it was Crook.
Was it Crook? All right.
Because Royce's first verse was about the trick, being tricked by the record industry.
Right. They're crooked. Yeah.
Was about being tricked by like by that prison, is anything besides.
Yes. Yep. You're absolutely
a way
right.
to make money on slavery.
But it's just an interesting line because like for some reason, in certain parts of the black community, it's like a badge of honor to go to jail. If you're a gangster, it's like this is how you show like you're a real G. Like you commit real crimes, so you got to go to real jail. It's almost like a union card. Like a prison record is like a union card for gangsters in the hood, right? Yeah. And it's just so sad because that's like it's the whole system was designed to essentially be modernized slavery, And so to have these dudes that like they look at it as a badge of honor to spend time in prison, it's just it's like, bro, like, no, take a step back. Like, this is what they want you to think. This is what they want you to do, and they're just getting, they're just making money off of your back, off of your,
like
the
actually,
shit you do in prison.
actually, right? Like,
Yeah, literally.
Off of your hard labor.
Exactly. And it's just like, just take a step back and just like collectively realize this, that like, you're looking at this as something good, and I see I see the point. I see where they are sort of coming from. I guess it's like, yeah, like in the hood, that's the only way to get respected. But it's like, we got to do better than that, man. And for anyone who has any confusion over like what the prison system is meant to do or what it was originally meant to be, do yourself a favor and just go watch The 13th on Netflix.
It's ready for you to watch. It's right there. Just go to Netflix.
Yeah, like you're not gonna cry. You're gonna get angry when you see this.
For sure.
But anyway,
100%.
so that was just going off of like, the deep like sort of social issues in this, like, that's, he mentions it for one line, but that opens up a whole can of worms or something that's like, it's it's pretty sensitive, and it's
he has these tremendous jewels across the whole album about just kind of opening I don't know if you noticed, very little of this album is like, here's what you should do. He's not giving lessons like, here's how you go and change this. He's just saying, you need to open your fucking eyes. If you don't see this as fact, you're wrong. Now, he does mention one thing that
I know what you're gonna go. I know what you're gonna say. He's
pretty anti-vax on this album.
I have a whole thing about that. Yeah,
and I know he has a son who's autistic, and also, I need to be very clear. We don't know shit.
No.
Okay?
No.
We only know what we are told. And if I found out tomorrow that there's scientific proof that vaccines can give your child autism, I'll believe it.
Sure. I'm sure any rational person would. That proof doesn't exist, though. Right. This is a problem. At least not yet. But
I am of the belief that I don't buy anything at face value.
Of course,
but
especially in this country.
At the same rate, I think it's important to get your kids vaccinated. So I don't know where I stand on that.
Cool.
So he just real quick, the one last thing I'm going to talk about is he not only does he talk about political important things and like, talking about systemic racism and the state of this country and what it was built on, but he also drops a lot of jewels on the record industry and on, he talks about like, he's talking to young rappers, like your video got 4 million hits. Oh shit. Somebody told you're rich. You know what I mean? Like there's these lies that rappers buy into. He's talking so much about like, you don't need to be on a major label. They're just going to own your, what's the word? Not masters. Labels do own your masters.
There's a triple entendre line he mentions that, but yeah.
But publishing too, you know what I mean? Like they have your publishing. They're just gonna make money off of you, So he's very much about being on an independent label and owning your masters and owning your publishing. He's trying to tell everyone you don't need to have a hit song to be successful. He's built a very successful career without a hit because he owns all of his publishing. It's very important.
Smart rappers who I admire very much have made this point, right? Like, gotta read the label. You gotta read the label, right? Tribe made this point about record labels.
Industry rule people. Number 4080, man.
Record company people are shady.
For sure, man. And so real quick, he talks about those things, and he also one line that always sticks out with me from the first listen is he says, it's just him talking after a verse. I think it's on Overcomer. He goes, you have to pay attention to the art, or put energy into the art, not the wave.
Okay.
Meaning, make your voice yours. Make your art yours. Don't follow a trend. He goes, you could own your masters and own your publishing, but if the music doesn't age well, you own 100% of nothing. And there's a lot of music right now that might be popping right now, but will not age well. And I think that's a really important lesson.
So much about it.
So sorry. Go ahead, D. What'd
No,
you
I was just gonna say that they'll age about as well as the face tattoos in some of these episodes.
So much was said. I think we went on a really long time, and I'm sorry if I hogged the mic on this one, guys.
No, all good.
I don't even think I need my final thoughts. You guys know where I stand. It is an album I think that deserves everyone's attention. Some of you might not love it. He says he challenges you to think, and he might say things that you're not ready to hear. And if you're not ready to hear some of this shit, you might get offended. But hey, he just spits truth. So I love this album. I'm so grateful that an artist like Royce is here that I could follow. He's the man. So
Gary, you got any?
Yeah, I got a final thought in that I'm grateful that that we listened to this album this week. I'm grateful that I know about Royce and his music now. This is a new level of just skill and ability and messaging that I didn't know existed before. So great, there's a new layer of reality I get to explore now. So I just hope I live a long time and have enough time to listen to all this shit.
Like, same here. I mean, this album is very dense. I wouldn't say it's among my favorite Royce albums, but it's not because this album is bad. It's just because I really love Book of Ryan, and I love the Bar Exam albums too. I know they're mixtapes.
Prime One's my favorite. Prime.
But and Prime, yes, yeah, and Prime. But this, I mean, this is up there. I mean, if I had to have 1A, 1B, 1C, this will definitely be one of the letters. I just love the energy put into this, the research, the education, the shout outs at the end of My People Free. Some of my favorite people got shouted out: Dave Chappelle, Jamel Hill, Killer Mike. Like all these people are very outspoken people. D.L. Hughley, all these people are very outspoken, always have been. He's just sort of giving a shout to them. And I also like that he ended the song with the song Hero, which is kind of I'm not gonna get into it too much, but it's basically like a tribute to his father, because he kind of shot in his father the last album, deservedly so. His dad had his issues; he was domestic abuse, but Royce is reconciled with him. His father's seemed to have gotten better in the years, and he's kind of like apologetic that he sort of sprung that information. And not sorry that he said the things he did. He's just more sorry that he sprung it on him in an album without talking to him first. So the album ends in a sort of beautiful kind of homage to his imperfect dad, but look, it's his dad. The next week's album, before we get out of here, believe it's my turn, right?
Yeah,
it is your turn. Yeah.
I'm gonna stay in the Detroit area. I'm not even sure if we even mentioned it and confirmed, but guys, Royce is from Detroit. That he is a Detroit artist. I don't think we ever actually mentioned that in this album or in this podcast episode. I'm gonna go with Danny Brown, the album Old.
Nice.
Which Ben, I think you're familiar with. Gary, do you know who Danny Brown is?
Nope, not even a little bit. I'm excited to check it out.
I think you're actually gonna like this, Gary.
Yeah,
so
I'm excited about this one.
Very, very different from Royce. Danny Brown is like more of a party rapper, but dope, dope. And the energy he's got. Like, I've seen him in concert a couple times. He's great. Mm-hmm. That is my pick for next week. And before we get out of here, just want to say on wax, justice for Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Rayshard Brooks, and Elijah McClain, and anyone else who's unfortunately lost their lives due to police brutality and bullshit over the last several weeks, months, years, decades, centuries. Call your local reps, demand change, and please vote. Yeah. No matter how hard they try to prevent us from doing so, please vote. Your vote will count. It'll change things. It'll help. And again, call local reps, demand change. That's all I gotta say.
100%.
Thank you, Dion.
Thank you, D. All right, guys, you've been listening to Do It Yourself Music Appreciation. Glad you joined us this time, and make sure you give that Danny Brown album a spin. Danny Brown, Old. And we'll see you next time, and we'll talk about it. Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.
The Rap Lizards would like to thank our man Red Walrus for providing the beats and interlude music. Thank you so much, Fred. Check him out on Bandcamp, download his music, support a great artist.